Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode we are fitting this ladder from TERRAFIRMA onto our Discovery 3. Now, in order to fit the rear ladder onto the Disco 3, it's pretty easy. That just hooks over the top of the upper tailgate. But at the bottom here, you've got a whole plate that's got lots of holes in it, and it's designed to be mounted behind this pod. And obviously this is where your switches, your handle release for the actuator. So to get this off, you've got 4 bolts on one face and 3 bolts internally when we get the rear trim off. So let me just show you those now so you know where we are. We remove the screw from the grab handle area, and when that's removed we can then just prise this off with some trim tools. You're going to find that you're probably going to need to replace a lot of the fasteners on there because it will get fairly mangled. And the module itself has got 3 nuts. They're flange nuts, so we just use a long socket, a deep socket, just to remove those. So getting that pod off is probably the only tricky part of this whole installation in theory, and to do it you have to remove these 4 screws that go in through the back of the tailgate. These plastic rib nut inserts that go into the housing have basically seized into the bolts, so they've just spun in the plastic, and luckily it's come off. But we really want to try and get these off and reset them into the plastic if we can. Give these a lube with some penetrating oil, and then hopefully we'll be able to get them off and reset them into the housing itself. Okay, I've got my ladder here and I've got the pod. Now it's telling us, not brilliantly if I'll be honest, in the instructions that we've got to remove 2 of the lugs from this unit, this pod, to allow us to put rib nuts through this into the door itself. And obviously we don't want those being in the way. Now, as far as I'm concerned, there are 4 locating lugs. There's these 2 plastic ones that are fixed, and it's not those, it's these 2 that are loose. They are just like fitting clips, so should just be able to remove those easy enough. Once they're out, then we can actually put our ladder on and then they'll not get in the way. It's hard to see on the video, and I know I've still got these lug nuts or these old rib nuts in place, but it looks to me like the ladder is going to line up fine this side, and this side's too high, so something's got to give. So I'm going to have to pull it down a lot, so it might mean I've got to sort of manipulate that bracket slightly on the top there, which is a shame. So now we've got to try and get these off somehow. I don't think they're going to come willingly. The trouble is, if you grip them too tight, it's going to make it even harder to undo. We're lucky, so that has come free. That's 1 out of 3. Not the end of the world. So this plate will drop down a bit, but not much. Here we go. This one and this one have to be modified to hold the rib nuts that they supply. So I put my foam gasket on the back plate here, and I've got one at the top. Really happy with that. Feels really solid. So as we've got this pod off the upper tailgate, while we're doing the ladder, I'm actually going to change the micro switch here that actuates the latch on the upper tailgate, and that's because it's not as positive as I want it to be. Occasionally I'll push it down and it just doesn't do anything, so I've got a feeling that might be on its way out. Now, you can't buy the part specifically from Land Rover, you have to buy the whole pod. This is over £500 for a Discovery 3. Now, you can buy a replacement one of these micro switches for a Range Rover Sport, which is the same. We're going to have to cut that off, cut the old one off the actual pod itself and hardwire it together. But just so you guys know, it is possible to get one of these for less than 20 quid, and then you can do the repair yourself. And these are, as you've seen, not too bad to get off the vehicle. Oh, there you go, that came out pretty easily. Now, there shouldn't be positive and minus, because it's just an interruption, temporary micro switch. So we'll pop it back in. Make sure it's orientated the right way. Should just click in. That's good. Yep. Got a wire fed through still. Now we're going to do a quick test now on the vehicle before we reattach everything. Yep, there we go. It's so much better. It's just instant. Now, obviously, it's a bit of a shame that the instructions were quite poor. There's no photographs or anything, but thank goodness for YouTube, hey? So now you don't need the instructions, you can watch this and get this fitted onto Disco 3 or Disco 4. It was a bit of a faff to kind of get everything lined up, but it is doable. It worries me a little bit that this plate here, this metal plate, is so thin and malleable. So I might try and reinforce that with maybe some rhino board or something with a bit of grip on it, just to give that a bit more strength. But I don't want to lose that grab handle. I think that's such a cool addition, just to be able to grab it for closing and opening, closing, rather than use that bit there. It opens up nicely. Like I say, it's got a little rattle to it because it's got something in there, but we'll get that sorted. But really pleased. I'm going to find out what this is for, and if it's for anything good, we'll fit it. If it's not, we'll think of something else we can fit it with. But all in all, really impressed with how easy that goes on. Now, you might have seen in a previous video that I fitted this drawer system, and because I'm trying to get back into my biking a bit more, I thought it might be fun to try and build a rig to mount my bike to. So if you're interested in biking yourself, this is a nice little rig. Just slides out, look. Just cut a recess in this board to allow the wheel to sit in, and it's just got a little strap around it to hold it in. The bike's held in by this fork mount, which you can get off Amazon, pretty simple. And then I've also got a couple of quick fists holding my saddle in there. So it's just a nice way I can keep the bike in the vehicle all the time. And then if I've got a chance, like on a day-to-day, it's so beautiful. I'm going to take a detour on the way home, go to Delamere, take it for a ride, and yeah, just make the most of what I've got, really. So if that's something you like, I'll put a link in the description above where you see where I actually fitted this, and it might be something you'd like to do for your own vehicle. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.